Having given careful attention to every aspect of this case, we have come to the conclusion that the appropriate penalty is a fine of £10,000.
All this could so easily have been avoided. You're about to find out how. All industrial sites, from builders' yards to the giants of industry, pose a potential threat to our natural water environment. Spillages occur throughout the country every day, in some cases devastating wildlife and habitats, killing thousands of fish and destroying the invertebrate life on which many fish and other animals feed. Nowadays, in the green 90s, people simply aren't prepared to accept this sort of careless pollution. The level of today's fines reflects this change in attitudes. Now, the magistrates' courts can impose fines of up to £20,000 for pollution offences. And should the incident warrant a Crown Court hearing, there's no limit to the fine. The bills associated with repairing the damage are increasing. Restocking of fish, for example, can run into many thousands of pounds. In fact, many insurance policies no longer include cover for clean-up costs. And polluters also have to meet the costs incurred by the Environment Agency in bringing these cases to court as part of its work in protecting and improving the environment. Most organisations also fear the inevitable bad publicity associated with pollution. An environmentally unfriendly image can have dire consequences in today's marketplace. The good news is that you can benefit society by preventing pollution and help cultivate a green image with little investment by following these basic pollution prevention guidelines. Fundamental to effective prevention of river pollution is a good knowledge of the drainage systems on your site. Basically, there are two types of drain: surface water and foul water. The foul water drain, as its name implies, is designed to carry contaminated wastewater safely away for treatment at a sewage works with the prior agreement of the relevant water company. The surface or clean water drain is designed to carry only rainwater as it leads to a local river or stream or soakaways. In some cases, the watercourse to which the drain leads can be a number of miles away. Problems arise when pollutants enter the surface water drain. Drains should always be clearly identified by colour-coding manholes and grids. All staff should be made aware of the colour coding. For example, red for foul water drains and blue for surface water drains. You should also have a comprehensive drainage plan of your site to accurately identify drains and to ensure there are no wrong connections either above or below ground. For example, sinks in a manufacturing or processing area will often be used as a convenient means of waste disposal. You should always check beforehand that they're not wrongly connected to the surface water system. Companies which have a direct consented discharge to a river, that is, with the permission of the Environment Agency, should also regularly check drainage systems and any effluent treatment facilities. Most industrial pollution accidents, however, arise from companies who may have had no direct contact with the agency prior to the first visit from a pollution officer following an incident. By sticking to those guidelines, nearly all pollution incidents can be avoided. Hazardous materials are, of course, potentially lethal, and specialist care should be taken in handling the storage. Basic safety procedures can avoid needless spillages during deliveries, saving not only damage to the environment, but also valuable raw materials. Before delivery, double-check storage tank levels, and always supervise the delivery itself. Label all containers with the nature and volume of their contents to prevent overfilling. Ensure all storage tanks have well-designed and constructed bund walls to safely contain any spillage. Have contingency plans in place to deal with any accidents and make sure all staff are aware of them. Ensure all loading and unloading areas are marked and isolated from the surface water drain. Provide catch pits for delivery points. Fit automatic cut-off valves on delivery pipes to prevent spillages due to overfilling. Where possible, site pipelines above the ground. If a pipeline is to be installed underground, it should be placed in a protective sleeve or duct and regularly inspected and tested. These sort of pollution prevention measures boil down to basic common sense. But then most incidents occur due to ignorance, apathy and neglect of safety procedures. And once a spillage has occurred, it's all too often the case that no containment measures, such as bund walls, and no emergency plans exist. As the bulk storage of oil and a vast array of chemicals becomes increasingly common, so the threat to the water environment is heightened. Deliveries are a particular danger time, but remember, storage facilities are constantly at risk, so be prepared at all times. Regularly check that the bund walls are secure. Remember, the wall and floor must be impermeable to the materials stored within it, and there should be no drains or valves. Ensure that overflow pipes on all tanks discharge within the bunded area. Always store drums within a bunded area, preferably roofed. Use the appropriate containers for materials, making sure that they're sturdy, uncorroded, and not liable to leak. And finally, regularly pump or bail out rainwater that may accumulate within the bunded area. Oil is a particularly severe pollutant. A gallon of oil can cover an area of water the size of 2 football pitches. Oil separators or interceptors should be placed on any surface water drain at risk, such as fueling and lorry parking areas. Remember to inspect and regularly maintain the separators. Ensure that they're properly designed and large enough to contain a spillage, and that no water containing detergents drains into them. You should also consider various security measures to guard against vandalism and theft. For example, lockable valves should be fitted on all storage tanks. Secure fences, lock gates and doors, and where possible, store materials under cover. An increasing number of pollution incidents are caused each year by vandalism and theft. It's important to keep one step ahead of the potential intruder. We all like to be in a clean environment, so we spend time making our workplaces clean. But cleaning can produce large volumes of polluted water, and special care must be taken over its disposal. All cleaning agents are potentially polluting, as are the contaminated surface areas they're used to clean. Remember, all washing operations should be carried out in designated curbed areas, which drain to the foul sewer. Biodegradable detergents are not suitable for discharge to surface drains. Don't allow yard areas to be cleaned by hosing to the surface water drain. The safe storage of waste and its correct disposal are also essential pollution prevention measures which all industrialists must take. First of all, consider methods of reducing the volume of wastes. Under the Environmental Protection Act, producers of waste have a duty to ensure that it's properly dealt with. Waste must be safely stored on site, and the producer has a duty to ensure that the waste contractor who removes it is registered and informed of its nature. All wastes must be stored in designated areas which are completely isolated from surface water drains. The areas should be bunded to contain spillages. The same goes for rubbish compactors, which should also be covered as they often leak a polluting liquid. Again, the prevention of pollution from wastes comes down to common sense, general good housekeeping and staff training. Remember too that litter is a pollutant and mustn't be allowed to enter a watercourse. Incorrect storage of waste on unprotected land or the spillage of any polluting substance onto land can also do great harm to the water environment. Pollutants seep through the earth, contaminating groundwaters. It's vital that this kind of pollution is avoided. Once the groundwaters have been contaminated, it's very expensive to clean up, and it may make the water unfit for other uses, such as drinking water. Conversely, the earth can be of some help in water pollution prevention, most notably during dewatering on construction sites. Silty water should never be pumped directly to a river or stream or surface water drain, as they cut out sunlight, choking waterways and upsetting natural ecosystems. Instead, the silty waters, as long as they're not contaminated, should be pumped to the foul sewer or to a settlement tank or over a grassed area. If you're in any doubt whatsoever about the most effective methods of protecting the water environment, then give the Environment Agency a ring. Their pollution control staff are determined to prove that prevention is always better than a cure. And with this in mind, a pollution officer will be happy to arrange a visit to your site to give advice on all areas of pollution prevention, free of charge. Remember, it's better to call your local officer in now for advice than have him or her call on you unexpectedly on the trail of a pollution. Ultimately, of course, the duty will be on you to protect your environment. With this in mind, be prepared. Study these guidelines and apply those which are relevant to you. Call the Environment Agency in and think about any additional safety measures you may need. If possible, think about giving staff personal responsibility for regularly checking pollution prevention devices. Staff training is absolutely essential for effective environmental management. Make sure all staff are aware of the importance of protecting the water environment and the efforts made on site to prevent pollution. To reinforce staff training, have a regular refresher programme of the initiatives taken and ensure that all new starters receive environmental training. Accidents are inevitable, though, so have in place contingency plans to deal with emergencies. If in any doubt, call in the emergency services as appropriate and then call in the Environment Agency. To report a pollution incident anywhere in England and Wales, you can dial free phone 0800 80 70 60. The Environment Agency is there to help prevent pollution, not simply to punish those who cause it. So follow the guidelines laid out in this programme and use the accompanying booklet as a constant reminder that pollution prevention pays.